7:14 on this first August Monday.
Yes, it is.
Hang on here. I'm going to log into the computer, and I'm going to hack your Ram pickup truck out there, and I'm going to send it to Walmart.
Well, Dale, you might be able to do that.
Get your truck to go buy me some milk or something.
You might be able to do that, you know it? From what we've been reading and seeing on TV, we're hacking vehicles now. Man, we need to get these hackers to doing something worthwhile to help us out a little bit instead of creating chaos. And
just if we had a positive outlook instead of negative, these people, I wonder what I could do. Well, it's like this murder in Memphis. I mean, policemen murdered over 5 grams of marijuana.
A lot of things we see in the world anymore are senseless, or they appear to be senseless to me. I'll say it that way. That's like this hacking thing. We've been seeing it.
And you said it's in GM now. I thought it was just a Jeep Chrysler thing.
Well, it's mainly a Jeep Chrysler thing, but they say now that they've hacked OnStar, the General Motors operating system. They've hacked into it, and it makes sense that they can do these things because, from what I have read, what little I've read and seen on TV, they're getting into the Chryslers through that Uconnect, the entertainment and the computer hookups and all that stuff. And these modern vehicles, everything is so integrated, especially with all the traction control, stability control, because unlike 20 years ago, most of all the vehicles we see rolling down the road today, there is no throttle cable. It's wireless, or it's a drive-by-wire. Excuse me. There's no cable. It is a drive-by-wire system on the throttle. Many cars now do not have hydraulic power steering. It's an electric motor that gives you the assist to turn the wheels. And we also have the capability in these cars through the traction controls and stability controls to activate brakes electronically. There's still a hydraulic system, and now you see with all these systems that are integrated everything's controlled by a computer of one or another computer in that vehicle. So you can see how they can hack into these and step on the brakes for you, or apply the gas, or shut it off. They can shut it off going down the road, because all this stuff is so integrated. And the manufacturers, I'm sure, are working around the clock trying to come up with some way to keep them from hacking these cars now. And I'm sure the hackers are working around the clock to beat that. So, this is one of those deals that we've stepped off into that it may be hard to do anything about, too.
I'm thinking here about what is not under my hood anymore. Points, condenser, distributor cap, rotor, the entire distributor is gone. There's no carburetors.
A lot of things have changed.
And this is since I worked in the shop in the last 25 years.
Yep. Yeah, the automotive industry has had a complete makeover in a lot of ways. The computer age, without a doubt, has improved our driving experience. It's better. Now we're kind of seeing the downside of this as these hackers start applying their skills and talents.
And I thought the downside of the computers was Chrysler's lean burn in 1978.
Well, there was a big downside to all that old lean burn stuff. But when you say that about, you're talking about points and condensers. Back it wasn't that long ago that we changed points, and things. We did that on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, and on every brand.
Yep, and they went away. And then we had electronic ignition distributors. They started in the mid-'70s, 74, 75. Everybody had them, and they went for a long time. And then away they went, and then we got into distributorless ignition. And now, it went for quite a while, worked good, and now we get into all this stuff with coils mounted directly on top of the spark plugs and different things like that. Not every manufacturer is doing that, but most.
So now, let's say that somebody, let me pick out a vehicle. Let's go with a 2012 basic Chevrolet car. Well, let's do a basic Chevy, Ford, Dodge base car. The difference in tune-ups now for 2012 as compared to, say, a 1982, 1992, and an 02.
Oh, there's big differences, If when you jump back into 82, there was a lot of stuff you did in a tune-up. You could set timing, you could set idle speeds, do all those things. And when you jump into a 2012 now, you're going to put in a set of spark plugs that are going to last 100,000, not 30 or 40. And there'll be a platinum, double platinum. Some of them are an iridium plug. They cost more. They cost a fair amount more than the old copper plugs, but you do it once every 100 or so thousand, and you forget about them. We
used to pay 79 cents for non-resistor, 99 cents for resistor plugs to keep the pop out of the AM radios.
Yeah. And so you'll change the spark plugs on this modern car. You'll go in there and clean the throttle body if they're dirty. You put some fuel injector cleaner in the gas tank. You hook your scanner up, checks if there's trouble codes, any kind of issues working there. Look the thing over real good. There's not a whole lot to tuning one of these cars up. There's just not that much left. Back in the day, we would have been changing distributor caps and wires and rotors.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I was doing that. If I had the basic General Motors car, they said, you do tune-ups. I said, yeah, but I do it complete from one end to the other. You get a new cap, new rotor, wires and plugs, and reset the timing.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't do the spark plugs and let the other stuff go, one end to the other.
Yeah, we could set timing, we could set idle, we could do a lot of little adjustments on those things. And, this day and age, there's not that much. And one thing I left out is the possibility of doing a fuel injector cleaning. If you win 100,000+ and now you're changing spark plug, cleaning the injectors is also a great idea with like a motor vac or something along those lines. But again, with computer controls, we got such precise fuel mixture control now. Timing, everything it is so much more precise than we ever dreamed of back in the days of distributors. And man, they run so good and so clean, and we forget about how good they run, and we just drive and drive and drive them. And
I think one of the most important issues right now, rather than the tune-up, is maintenance on making sure you know about your engine's timing chain and or belt. Especially on what we call an interference engine.
Yeah.
Because that's something we really didn't deal with in the days of points condenser type of timing.
Many cars now have got timing belts. Many cars do. And those belts are fine. They work good. They're quiet. All those things that everybody likes. But you need to check, if you suspect you have a timing belt, you need to look in the owner's manual and see when it is recommended to be replaced. And it'll be in there somewhere. So have that done, and me being me, I would err on the side of caution. I'd do it a little bit earlier than they recommended for the reasons that you just listed. If a timing belt breaks, they are interference engines. Many engines still have got timing chains. Now, timing chains are a maintenance-free thing, basically. You run them, and then, eventually you'll hear them making noise, has been my experience with a chain. If they get stretched, you'll hear them rattling a little bit, something like that. Timing chains, man, you don't usually have any issues with those things. I mean, it has to be something a little bit odd. We see cars coming in the shops, got 200,000 miles, and they never had a timing chain put on them. And there's no reason to. They're quiet, and everything's fine. So, yeah, timing belts are fine. You see them on a lot of, it seems to me, more import cars like Hyundai, Kia, Mitsubishi, Toyota.
Really?
Yeah. But then you flip it around, and most of the American cars, it seems like most, and a lot of the Hondas have timing chains. So, it's there's a mix of all of it. If you think you got a belt, might ought to check and see when the recommended
when it starts getting to 100,000, it's time to get that
might
maintained.
ought to check and see when the recommended service interval is and get that done, because way back in the day, in about early to mid 80s, I was with a guy. We was driving over to Harrison. A little Ford Escort had a timing belt, and this was far enough back. There wasn't we went under. Remember where the road went under the railroad bridge over there? Between Yeovil and Harmon,
the creek and the railroad over the highway.
Yeah, a bridge under a bridge.
Yeah,
and right there, that thing quit.
Really?
We didn't know what happened. Just shut off. And so we called somebody. They come got us, and it had broke a timing belt. And it was a 4-cylinder, and it had 2 valves per cylinder, and it bent 6 of the 8 valves, and yeah, we did some damage to that little car. But that was basically my first experience with a timing belt. Now they have improved the belts and everything so much since the mid '80s. It's ridiculous. But they need to be checked. They sure do.
Well, let's look at the evolution of motor oil.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back into the 80s. 10W40, 1540, 2050 were common.
Straight 30
Straight 30,
Yep.
20W20.
And it was all, basically all of it was petroleum oil. Mm-hmm. We were just starting to see, it seems like back in the 80s, mid-80s or so, we were starting to hear rumors about something called Mobil 1 and AMS oil.
Yep.
And, oh my gosh, you can run one of these forever and never change the oil. Remember all those?
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
We
remember Slick 50?
Yeah, sure do.
You don't see that anymore.
Not much. Not much.
I haven't seen that in a long time. Do
No.
they even make it?
Sure.
Do they really?
They still make Slick 50.
Goodness.
And I was around one time way back when Slick 50 was being introduced, and they were going around doing demos.
Uh-huh.
And they had a little old lawnmower engine. And they would fill that thing up with oil in Slick 50 and run it for a few minutes, and they'd drain all the oil out of it and pull it over there and start it and let it run. And while they were doing this, talking to you about all the positives of Slick 50, and that little old motor's just running away.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
But that's 100 years ago. But yeah, the motor oils have changed tremendously. We talking about 1540s and 1040s and 30 weights and all that, and everything was petroleum, and now the petroleum oils themselves are light years ahead of where they were then, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And of course now synthetic is really showing up, and AMS oil, Mobil 1, all that stuff is commonplace.
But now Pennzoil and Valvoline and Quaker State and Motorcraft and Casual all have their synthetics now.
Yeah, everybody makes a synthetic oil. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things, people's always, this oil's better than yours, my oil's better than yours. And
my dog eats kettle rush.
Yeah, I remember that. And I pick a good name brand of oil. I'll stick with what I've said since the day one. Whether it's petroleum or if it's synthetic, pick a good name brand of the proper weight. Run it in your car. Change it when you're supposed to change it, and you won't ever notice the difference in them. And we see cars come in and we pull a valve cover off of a car that's running Quaker State, Pennzoil, Valvoline, Mobil 1, whatever. And if the oil has been changed regularly, it's clean.
There you go.
If it has been run way past oil change intervals and stuff, it's dirty inside. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference on it. If you don't change the oil on a pretty regular basis, then that's going to be the result.
Well, we've been talking about a lot of old parts on cars and how they've evolved. Minute Mechanic has kept up with the times.
I think so.
Yep.
We have sure tried. Absolutely. We got a Snap-on Solus Elite scanner. We can scan American, Japanese, European cars. Check for while the check engine light is on. Of course, we've got the Hawkeye Elite alignment machine. We've got a Motorvac machine, T-Tech. We've got a lot of stuff up there that's we've tried to keep up. Man, it's tough because it's tough to hit a moving target, and man, as fast as the automotive industry is progressing, they get ahead of us sometimes. But yeah, we sure do.
And I'm looking at the calendar. There's no holidays this week, so Minute Mechanic's there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Yes.
And you got time to get people in.
We sure do. Guys, give us a call. We got some things already booked for this week, but we've got plenty of time. If you need something done, give me a shout, and we'll schedule it in and get it done for you. Absolutely.
Yeah, all major brands of motor oils, top quality filters built by Wix.
Yes.
And transmission service, front end line. I'm envious of the front end machine. I wish we would have had that 35, 40 years ago when I started doing that stuff.
Well, you know how that goes. Yeah. Were you using a Lida-Line back then?
That the string.
Yeah, man. We got a great piece of equipment up there for doing front end work, and the Pennzoil guy was come by the last week and got an oil. So today about lunchtime they're going to be there to drop off a bunch of oil, and yeah, we'll be ready for whatever anybody needs.
Minute Mechanic is located on Highway 201 North across from Salvation Army. 425-3135 is the number. They're there from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And looking forward to serving you this week.
Absolutely. It's going to be warm. Looks like we may, towards the end of the week, cool off just a little bit.
Ain't that nice?
But boy, we've been doing a lot of air conditioner work.
Yeah.
Lots of ACs having issues this year. and we can take care of AC issues. And if you need just a little bit of Freon, that takes a few minutes, and we can get deeper than that if we need to.
Sounds good. Give Mike and the gang a call. They're ready to serve you this week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. They're right across from Salvation Army, Highway 201 North. Give them a call at 425-3135. And, hey, let's see, you're not going to be here next week.
I won't be here next week. I'll be in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, suffer.